Hello and welcome to A Place to Call Home. It's our weekly series where we talk about everything. Happy New Year and welcome to 2018 here at Acadiana Open Channel. It's A Place to Call Home. I'm Portia Evans. My very special guest live in studio with me today with a program that I'm really excited about is Miss Connie Walton Lewis and Mr. Darius Clayton. And we are here to talk about a program that will be coming to Lafayette. It's called From Boys to Men, and it's being presented by the organization Gatekeepers. And Miss Lewis, tell me first of all what Gatekeepers are.
Gatekeepers initially was the first program that I started under New Steps Reentry, which is my organization. And it's basically for men that have been in the cycle of incarceration, recidivism, and violence in their lives.
All right, and I understand, Mr. Clayton, you have a program of your own.
Yes, ma'am. It's actually titled Struggle and Overcome. And it's pretty much a platform, a brand that puts out awareness on the fact that you can create your life if you get over the struggle that you face from day to day.
And I want to know what makes both of you passionate about this particular kind of work.
Well, if you're speaking about the Boys to Men, what makes me passionate about it is because I have male sons. And I have male sons that have been incarcerated, that have been in trouble, in and out of jail. So it definitely is a passion for me to try to find a way for us to make things better for them, to open up a platform for them to tell their stories so that people can truly listen to what they have to say. A lot of times we say we're listening to what they're saying, but a lot of times we're being judgmental. We're not really listening. We're looking at the circumstances for which that they are in, be it jail, coming out of jail, if they did some kind of violent crime, just going in and out of jail. So my program, the Boys to Men program, is basically to just have a place for them to present what kind of crisis or trouble that they've been in, and tell their story.
And you, why?
Well, there's a certain feeling when somebody comes up to you and tell you that you played a part in changing their lives. And the very first experience that I had was very overwhelming, and it was probably better than any award, any trophy that I ever received in my life. And from that moment on, I knew that this was something that I had to do.
And you know, men who've been in the situations that you're talking about, being a part of, being incarcerated in the state that has one of the highest incarceration rates in the world. We are so glad that our governor has taken a look at that and is trying to change some things. But you're faced with many, many obstacles, and a lot of recidivism takes place because you know you come out, and a lot of people feel that there is no hope. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm lost in this big old world where I don't kind of know what to do to stay in a good place. And it is a struggle. It can be a struggle.
Yes, it's a struggle.
And to hear these men tell their stories, and I know that, there are a lot of people who deserve to be locked up. Let me just say that. They deserve to be punished for the crimes that they did. I had a son who was murdered. I still have not found his perpetrator. I don't know who killed my child. And I have a granddaughter who says, "Grandmother, why don't you visit me in Dallas?" And I say, "You know, honey, I'm not coming back until I come for somebody's trial.
Mm-hmm.
I want to come and sit down at somebody's trial." So there are a lot of different situations that I can think of. I love that this program, From Boys to Men, and a lot of men don't like being called boys. So where did that come from, Miss Connie?
Well, I think it comes from deep within myself, because I think about, I have a son that's still currently incarcerated, and I think about him, the way he started out. He was a boy when he started out getting in trouble, um, skipping school, and then when he went from skipping school, he started to get in trouble because he was no longer in a constructive environment. He wasn't in school anymore, so it was nothing but trouble on the streets. And so
Were you a single parent dealing with
at
this?
the time, I was a single parent dealing with that particular situation, and I think about now him being an adult. A lot of his childhood was taken from him. You know, he was a youth when he started getting in trouble. He was going in and out of jail, and he's currently incarcerated now. So that's why it came from something within myself. You know, just like you talked about your son and you know what happened to him. I think that when we have personal things that happen to us, we have a passion from deep inside that helps us to push toward trying to get answers. And that's basically what we're doing with these stories. We want to find out what the needs of the men are, and try to support them to do better in their lives.
Now, Mr. Clayton, you will be one of the presenters at this event,
Yes, ma'am.
and is that because you have a story?
I do have a story. It's pretty new. It's pretty unique within itself. It's not necessarily one of incarceration. I've never been incarcerated. I've never really been in real trouble with the law, but I have experienced a great deal of depression growing up, and I believe that it was due to a sort of dysfunction within my home. I had a father, but I didn't have a father at the same time. My mom was busy going to school, working full time, and pretty much trying to make sure we had food, clothes, and et cetera. So I felt like I didn't receive the love that I should have. And because of that, I acted out, started stealing, did drugs, hanging around the wrong people just to feel some type of attention. And through focus and great reasoning, I kind of turned my life around.
So what will your message be to young men sitting in that audience?
My message is simply to adjust your focus. A lot of times we tend to look at the things that we can't control. We look at our environment. We look at the people we hang around and think that this is what it is. This is what it's always going to be. We tend to look more towards negativity and not necessarily toward positivity. And everything that we could ever want is within us. We just have to focus on the things that we can do rather than the things that we can't.
That is wonderful. Now, I know that you have some other presenters that day.
Yes, I do. I actually have 4 presenters for the Boys to Men. It's going to be Darius and Kevin Handy. Mr. Brooks, he was supposed to be here. I don't think he's going to make it. And also, it's Kevin, it's you, and
Mr. Handy?
Mr. Handy, and it's Evangelist Donovan. He's going to also be a part of it too.
All right. So I know
He's from Lafayette.
I know these men have some powerful stories. That big event is going on January 20th.
Yes.
Here in the city of Lafayette from 6 until 8 p.m. Write that down, January 20th from 6 until 8 p.m. It's called From Boys to Men at the Clifton Chenier Center, 220 West Willow, right here in the city of Lafayette. And it's all about the journey of becoming a man. The journey of becoming a man. That is a powerful statement, and special guests are going to be on board. We want you to, especially young men, but it's not just open to men, right?
No, it's open to everyone.
To
We
everyone.
want families to come.
You may be a family who has a person incarcerated and wondering why, what happened. And you're taking this event to some other cities as well, right?
Yes. The vision of Boys to Men is to actually have them to be from the major cities. We started with Lake Charles. That was the first one, and
How did that go?
it was okay. It was a test, but we went through it. We had some great speakers, and but we didn't have the crowd that we wanted. We didn't reach the people that we wanted, but.
I was going to
Um,
ask, I see you on social media all the time.
Mhm.
What is your response? What kind of response are you getting?
Well, I think it depends. That's with anybody and anywhere you go. You know, you never know how people are going to respond to anything. But it does not make me lose my focus. So what I'm going to do, we started off with Lake Charles. We're going to do Lafayette on the 20th. And then we're going to go to Baton Rouge March the 10th. And then New Orleans would be May the 19th. And then not the next month, but the following month would be Shreveport.
All right.
And then
So you're crossing the state.
yes, that's what it could be. My organization is a statewide. It's a membership organization. So actually, what I'm trying to do is build collaboratives and villages in each one of those cities where people will come to the table and say, "This is what we got going on in our city. These are the people that we need to help, and this is what's happening, a crisis or whatever." And we want to build those collaboratives everywhere we go so that we can all stay in touch and we can all help one another.
Have you thought about putting together kind of like a resource sheet in each one of these cities where a man can pick this up if he's just getting out of incarceration, can pick this up and say, oh, I can go here.
Right.
This is a place, I know they have places of employment, people that will hire you despite what you check on that paper, because they can get tax credits. A lot of these major employers can get a tax credit if you've been incarcerated and they give you a shot. They'll hire you. And a lot of people come out saying, well, I ain't gonna get hired. You know, I'm not gonna be able to find a job. That is not true. Let me tell you, that is not true. You will. You just put forth the effort. Put one foot in front of the other and put forth the effort, and it will happen for you. And stay clean and sober and show up to work on time and see what God won't do for you. But I was thinking a resource sheet in each one of these cities where I can go for health care, where I can go to possibly get employment,
Right.
where somebody will hire me, where I can go to get me some food stamps or something, just a little sheet.
Well, basically that is what the collaborative would be all about.
Yeah,
And when I say collaborative, I mean collaborations with other cities and across the state. So each city will have their own
right.
things that they will be offering their city or
Right.
whatever. And so if somebody needs help, I may be in Lake Charles, and somebody might need help in New Orleans.
Right.
They can give me a call, and if I have some type of input on maybe a crisis that's going on with them, I can do that because I'm a part of this big village.
Right. And a lot of times we find that, when you're released from incarceration, a lot of people have to go back into the same situation, especially women. Now, I know that your little initiative is called Boys to Men, but I've always been concerned about women and women coming out of incarceration.
Right.
That is a building number, and it seems like those are the forgotten ones.
Right.
A lot of people concentrate on men. And we know that there's a big male population, but there's certainly a big female population as well.
And Portia, I would like to say something on that. And a lot of women do tell me, you work with men, and I do have a program for women. It's for domestic abuse. It's actually for youth. But my thoughts, is that we know that the Bible says the man is the head,
Right?
and we're behind the man. And when they say that the women don't have a lot of push, nobody's really pushing for them, I disagree with that, because a lot of women have to step in position when the men are in jail.
Right?
Even though they're stepping into the position, they're still out of order because the man is supposed to be the head. And so I think a lot of things will kind of like more or less come more together once we get these men in position where they need to be.
I
Get
am
them
talking
back
about the
to be
women
backbone.
that are getting out, though.
Right, right.
That's the women I'm talking about.
I understand what
and
you're
more
saying.
than that, I'm talking about these women who are getting incarcerated,
Right.
and they are leaving these babies behind.
Well, it's a family, yeah, it's a family.
They're
unit.
leaving
That's
these
it.
babies.
Right, right.
And next thing you know, the little boy done got in trouble.
Right, right, because there's no structure in the home. And it still goes back to what I was trying to say. The father's not there. A lot of and Darius he spoke about that. His feelings on his father wasn't there. And so a lot of it goes back to that. We're not definitely leaving women out. It just basically has to do right now with what we're looking at as an order. And it has to do with men as being the head. And women have had to step in that position because a lot of our men are locked up
Right.
in jail or dead, in some type of violent altercation, So, and we are sensitive to the women. They are definitely our backbone too, and we don't want to forget about them. So I understand where you're coming from with that.
You talked about one of your programs in domestic violence.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, the Silent Cries Youth Domestic Violence Program is for women that are affected by relationship and dating violence. Actually, young adult women and women, and we basically bring prevention, awareness, and education to the communities to let women know that they don't have to accept abuse and it's not love. We do different programs. We bring people in to do workshops. We do a lot of trainings. We also do a lot of events to bring awareness to the community. We've had a lot of deaths with that lately in Lake Charles. Women that have been killed in a domestic abuse situation. And it needs to people need to really understand that this is getting out of hand.
We've
And we
had
need
a
to bring
lot of
more
deaths
focus
here
to-
too in Lafayette, in the
Right.
Lafayette area, and this is gun violence.
Mhm.
And we're trying to get a hand on it. I don't know what it's going to take to get a hand on it, but Lord, we got to do something.
Well, we have a lot of gun violence too and deaths. And I believe that we can't do everything, but I think everybody, Darius has his program. I have my program, and everybody works together. I think some things can happen. But if we do allow some type of platform where people can really, what I want to happen with the Boys to Men program, I want people to truly listen to what these men are saying. A lot of times they look at the situation that they're in and say, oh, they need to go to jail. That's where they need to be. But they don't really know what's going on within that family or within that person's mind or that person's spirits, just like Darius was saying, how he felt his father wasn't there. And there's a lot of, and I'm not taking up for what they're doing, but we need to listen to what they're saying. So I wanted to provide a space for them to talk about what's going on in their lives, either coming out of prison or some type of violence that they've been in, or whatever the situation may be.
And I want to listen too. If they're willing to tell their story and the true story,
That's right.
then I want to listen
That's
too.
right.
And I hope that the audience wants to listen too. It's Boys to Men, from Boys to Men. The event happens January 20th from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. at the Clifton Chenier Center. That's at 220 West Willow, right here in the city of Lafayette. The journey of becoming a man. Some very special guests with their stories. They're going to be there to tell those stories, including Mr. Darius Clayton, and this is Miss Connie Walton Lewis. If you're just joining us now, I need to get some contact information on both of you people in case somebody is watching and needs to get in touch with you both.
Okay. Well, you can find me on Facebook first off, Darius D. Clayton on Facebook. My email address is dariusclayton25@gmail.com.
Say it again.
dariusclayton25@gmail.com.
Okay.
And they can also find me on Facebook under New Steps Reentry. and also under the Silent Cries program.
And
my-
Boys to Men.
And then Boys to Men, it has a page too on Facebook.
All right.
And also my email is ConnieYLewis@yahoo.com.
All right, and there may be some people in our area who, after this event, wants you at their churches, at their public events, to just address some people. We are involved, and like I always tell people, I have been doing this and this journey in my life for a long time. I open my home, my personal space, to females who have been incarcerated
Right.
and who are getting out of jail. So that's my passion, because I know the needs. I know these women who want to be reconnected with their children, and we help them with the court system. We help them to get jobs. We help them to get transportation. And I've had some success stories. I've had some failures, because you ain't gonna play at my house. But I've had some success stories, and most of them do well
Right.
and are on their feet, and it's so good to see, this young lady just willing to work and give it her all, to do what she has to do, not to be in that situation again.
Right.
And a lot of them I hear from say, if I only had a place.
That's right.
Like, if I only had somewhere to go, or somebody that cared about me enough
That's right.
to say, look, come on. I get a lot of calls from the sheriff's office, and Miss Portia, you got a place? No, I don't have no room right now. So I'm kind of building a waiting list, but we moving them in and moving them out. So.
And it takes, people that have an interest like you, a passion, and just really want to support
Oh, yeah.
the people that have been incarcerated. Everybody does not feel the same way we do.
I know.
And if we can, each person take their own place and do what they're, you working with the women, and I'm working with men and women, and Darius is doing his thing or whatever. I think things can change.
Oh, yeah.
But we have to come together as a village, as a unit. And if I would ever need somebody, I know that I can call you and say, well, I have this problem with this lady just getting out of jail. She was in a domestic abuse situation. She ended up killing her husband. I can call you because you've had women that you've worked with, and you can give me some type of information. And so what's important is us just being collaboratives in a family unit for each other, and not trying to take everything upon ourselves, because we really can't do that.
Oh, yeah.
We really can't do everything on our own.
And I have a lot of people, they worry about me, and they say, Miss Portia, they're using you. I don't care.
That's right.
Maybe sometime, I can feel that way. But basically, we all get along, and we all got one goal: to see you accomplish something.
That's
and
right.
Get on
Success.
your feet again.
That's right.
Get your babies back again.
That's it.
That is our goal. So I want to thank you guys for coming on. It's been a real interesting conversation. From boys to men, the journey of becoming a man. That big event is going to be happening at the Clifton Chenier Center. It's going to happen January 20th at 220 West Willow Street, right here in the city of Lafayette, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and you are urged, please attend this event. Thank you both again.
Thank you so
And be well to both of you, especially you, young man. I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
He's very smart.
Thank you for doing what you do and for having that passion
Yes.
about it. And Miss Connie, you too as well.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
for doing
you.
what you do.
Thank you.
And anytime you have an event coming to our city, you please let me know. And we will try to get the word out
Thank you so
on
much.
television as well as radio. So y'all be blessed.
Thank
All right,
you.
Thank you.
And we'll say bye-bye for a
Bye-bye.
place to call home. I'm Portia Evans. God bless.